It doesn't bother me being old. I mean, I'd think to myself, 80, it's a hell of an age, really, isn't it? 87, How did I get here? What's been happening? And then, of course, I remember all these things that have been happening, That was me at the age of 3, and that's when I was subsequently training as a nursery nurse. I had been concerned for about a year, and I had several times said to my woman doctor, I'm worried about my memory. Bloke. Finally, she said, well, I can arrange for you to go and see this Dr. Mahmood. They did tests and they'd ask you questions and things, which a lot of them I could answer perfectly well. But then other things that the ones I could never do were particularly, I'm going to mention 3 things to you. I just knew I couldn't remember them at all. CT brain scan report dated February 2011, which revealed marked disproportionate atrophy of the brain. The overall appearances would support a clinical diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. Well, it's a sort of death sentence thing. It's not, you don't drop dead, but you just gradually fall to pieces. Bits of your brain just stop working all the way around, and I've looked at photographs of it, but somehow it doesn't actually mean very much, because I just know that that's what's happening, and it's absolutely bloody maddening, you can imagine. I can pick up the bus. There's one bus that comes along here, and it goes round into the main street, and goes in onto Leamington, and so I go in on, and there are buses all the way up on both sides of the street with those, and the same here. And they're every 15 minutes, which is brilliant. You need to put your hand up. I have had them go shooting past because I didn't get my hand up in time. When I hand up my little ticket thing, sometimes there's a sort of shutter down, and they look at you, and I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do with it, There's nothing to put it on, and you have to hand it to them, and I never know which way up they want. And 1 or 2 of them joked and sort of said, other way up, And the ticket doesn't come out, and then I don't know why. What I do notice is that they vary very much in how long they give you to get to your seat if you're getting on. Perhaps that's the other thing, because the buses are incredibly jerky, and they're having to stop all the time along here and going through town and so on. You're knowing that it's going to stop in a minute, and then there'll be the big jerk. And I always joke with people, I did land up on one time, landing up on one poor man who was sitting there on the end seat, in his arms, more or less. Not that he seemed to mind, but, it made me very careful. So I do hold on to things all the time. Normally there's the driver, and one of them I did see. The very old, very little frail woman went to get out, and she was going very slowly, and he was waiting to go, and he shut the door, and her hand got caught in it, and I thought, that is terrible. He opened it again, and she seemed to be all right, but I thought, my God. So whenever now I always say to people, if there are several people getting out, I say, do go first, because I'm rather slow. And I say to the driver, I'm afraid I'm rather slow, because 1 or 2 of them don't seem to be very aware of it. They're not actually looking at you at all. They're just wanting to get on, Well, I'm quite normal a lot of the time. It's just that I can't well remember things, And I just say that now, and that's why I prefer to tell people, because it explains. I suppose it is really patience on their part, and particularly on this route, because there are so many retired people here.
What would be the main thing you would improve?
Oh, that they'd all be nice and jolly and greet you with a smile and courtesy, really. That's the word, isn't it?